Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And it is determined that we do have a quorum. Commissioner Jackson, would you like to lead us in the flag salute?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of February the 6th, 2017.
Second?
Okay, a motion is made and second to approve the February 6, 2017 minutes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed. Public comment.
I think we have one.
We've got a couple, I
I
think, out
so.
there.
Yeah, I think so.
Larry or Sharon, which one would like to come up and make a few comments? Both your names are here. So.
Okay.
Larry.
Our issue is the.
Would you say your name?
Pardon me.
Your name and
Larry
address?
Your
Sprague.
address.
Our issues is the flooding from Davis Lake Creek through Morton. It's flooding the schools, the senior citizen center, several of the businesses when we have high water and snow. So fortunately this year it hasn't been as bad as it has been in the past, but okay, we have a farm that's on the east end of the creek, and it's probably got 2/3 of our farm underwater at times, and we're just losing the ability to farm it because of the water. So we need to get it cleaned. I don't know how. Most of the property is owned by Tacoma Power for their mitigation for the dam, but the state game department manages it, but they claim they don't have any money to do anything with it either. So that's, Gary knows, he's been there. And
Yeah, I'll give everyone just a little bit of a background. We've actually been working on this for a couple of years. Once upon a time, it was a diking district, and I believe the original one was in 1914. Is that when it was set up originally? Yeah, well, the county, I don't think, has any records, posted records, until it was 1941 or 42, I think. So things have changed up there a lot, and I know that I've met with Larry, and we've had other people, and we had a former county commissioner also that lives up there, Harold Cooper, that was involved with it too. So we're working on it, but I can tell you right now, it seems like we're, and really the bottom line on it is money, permitting, and those types of things. So we'll continue to meet, and I'll be up to visit, and we'll poke and prod and see what we can do to see what we can get going. I know that the school has been I have talked to the superintendent up there, and the school is very interested in supporting whatever we do because that is part of the diking district. And of course, we have flooding there where I know that the school, they've had to postpone school because of the sewer situation and all kinds of things like that. So, and they got a beautiful baseball field there, but you can't use it until about July because it's really tough there. So anyway, thank you for your comments, and we will continue to work on it then. And I'll be by now that the weather's better too. Okay. Colonel Averill.
Colonel Averill from Centralia area, representing the Farm Bureau this morning. I would point out on the Sprague's comments that we do have a Cowlitz Basin flood something.
Flood subzone.
Yeah, district.
Subzone, yeah.
Flood zone district, which has the same responsibility as the Centralia or the Chehalis one, and some of these things should probably come before that board. On my side, I'm sorry I missed last week, but I had about 4 inches of snow on my 6% driveway when it came in. But we did have Farm Bureau Ledge Days on Tuesday. And just a couple of things of note. There are currently 4 existing bills on the Hearst decision that are sitting up at the legislature. None of them we're really fond of, although the Senate version of the bill looks the best to us in Farm Bureau. That's Warnick's bill that is up there. The 2 House bills are both by Democrats. One's a little bit better than the other. But however, given the fact that we've got the split between the House and the Senate, we're more than likely going to see a compromise bill at best. And there are 2 out there, but it just continues to bear watching. The other one of note is, as you know, we're in VSP, and the funding for VSP goes through this biennium. And the way the bill is worded, if there's no continued funding, then VSP stops. So I know that Eric Johnson was involved in the original negotiations on that, and I would ask that the association join the Farm Bureau in pushing for funding for the next biennium so that we can continue our planning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
No more public comment?
No,
That's it.
that was the last one.
I move that we approve the notice agenda, items 1 through 5, resolution number 17-043 through 047.
Second.
Mr. Martin.
Good morning, Eric Martin, Public Works Director and County Engineer. Speaking to notice agenda items 1, 2, 3, and 4. Resolution 17-043, issuing a request for proposals, RFP, for engineering services for the planning and design of Borst Avenue. So we are requesting proposals from consultants to help us with the entire project, but for now, the planning phase to try to get us to a point where we can make decisions about what the project's going to look like, and then hopefully be applying for grant funding this summer. That'll include some public outreach processes, including, as we've discussed before, getting some of the students from the high school involved.
Okay. And this includes the city of Centralia?
It does. We're partnering with the city of Centralia, and we had some discussions with them, and I think we're both in agreement that, although different than maybe what we've discussed before, that the county is going to take the lead on this project for now, and that's just based on available resources. And we do need to, which you'll probably see coming through here shortly, is put together some interlocal agreements between the county and the city to make sure we describe how that relationship is going to take place for this project. So,
Thanks for all your work on this.
yeah. Thank you.
The residents really appreciate it.
Resolution 17-044, notice of public finding of no significant impact on the environment and notice of intent to request release of funds for the Vader-Enchanted Valley Water System new reservoir project. So this is a finding through the NEPA, National Environmental Protection Agency process, or Act process, that the Vader Water System Reservoir Project has no significant environmental impact. And that's a requirement for the project, and it's also a requirement for our funding through Commerce CDBG grant, Community Development Block Grant. And so we had to get that done before we can request funding. So two things there. One is no finding of any impacts, and then two, now that that's done, we can go and request reimbursement for the money we've already spent to design that project. Any questions? Resolution 17-045, publishing of Lewis County's on-call consultant roster and appointing the Public Works Director as approving authority for category changes. This is an annual notice that we do, just putting it out there so that people can join our on-call roster. So this is going to be architectural, engineering, and other professional services. We have a roster that we can choose from, and there's other folks that actually use that roster as well. So. And there's the categories there. And so then this also gives the Public Works Director authority to define new categories or change categories if it's needed. And somewhat related to that is Resolution 17-046, which is the publishing of the Small Works roster for Lewis County and appointing the Public Works Director as approving authority for category changes. So this would be more contract type services if we need something small done by a contractor. And there's other agencies, you can see there a lot of the fire districts utilize our small works roster as well. So that just makes that available for projects less than $300,000.
Is there a lot of work for, I'm assuming most of these are local contractors. Do they get a piece of the pie, so to speak, a little bit? I don't know what the...
Yeah, they do. So we, as you can see, there's some of the categories there, and we usually utilize at least a few of these types of small contracts every year. A lot of times it's some kind of a specialty service that we cannot do with our own forces or equipment. So just as an example, being on the traffic side that I was, we often would utilize them if we needed repairs to a street light that was maintained by the county. If somebody hit one and then drove off and we didn't know who that was, we'd have to go out and repair that. I know we had some copper wire stolen out on Rush Road a couple years ago, so we've utilized small works rosters to take care of those kinds of things. There's several other things that we do, but that's just an example. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, Lee Napier, Director of Community Development, speaking on agenda item number 5, Resolution 17047. This is a request to set a public hearing and proposed action to adopt draft ordinance 1274, and this particular ordinance relates to a code amendment related to Chapter Title 17. And the action here would not only define rural governmental services, but then make accommodations for that type of service in our resource lands. Any questions?
So give us an example.
Good idea.
So rural governmental services might be things that would commonly be provided or necessary in our rural parts of the county, such as road shops, fire stations, would probably be the two best examples. And so currently our code does not allow for provisions for those types of uses where they're likely most needed. So we wouldn't be able to allow those types of uses in the future. Water systems, Sheriff's Department, substation.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to approve the notice agenda, and that would be 5 resolutions, number 17-043 through numbers 17-047. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the consent agenda, items number 6 through 13, resolution number 17-048 through resolution number 17-055.
Second.
Good morning, Commissioner. Suzette Smith, Chief Accountant, Auditor's Office, presenting agenda item number 6. This is resolution number 17-048. This is the weekly approval of warrants for payments of claims against the various county departments. We are still issuing warrants against the 2016 appropriations and the 2017 appropriations now as well. Last week, we issued 247 regular warrants, number 763, 729 through 763, 975, for a total of $797,127.98. We note the following warrants as a skip in sequence. These warrants were issued on behalf of our special purpose districts. Those lists are approved by their commissions. Numbers 763, 673 through 763, 728. Any questions? Thank you.
Suzette, one other thing, just for the public's notice, since we're also paying for 2016 bills, so a service was delivered in 2016 and the bills just arrived, so we're
That is-
paying for it now, correct?
That is correct. We are a GAP county. We do accrue our expenditures to the year in which they were incurred, and we also accrue our revenue to the year in which it was earned. Most of those come in within the first 30 days. However, we do have a 60-day recognition period, so we'll be coming up on the end of that, approximately March 1st or 2nd.
Thank you.
Okay.
Eric Martin, Public Works Director, County Engineer, speaking to agenda items 7 through 10. Resolution 17-049, the proposed acquisition of additional right-of-way for Pleasant Valley Road in Mineral. This is right-of-way acquisition for a culvert replacement project. So Resolution 14-16 adopted procedures for our right-of-way acquisitions. And this is all from one property owner. And so this would just be a right-of-way and easements that we're acquiring for construction purposes.
And how far away is Pleasant Valley Road from the accident, or the washout on Highway 7? Is it very close to that? North of it? Is it north?
I'm not exactly sure whether that washout was north of it or south of it. I apologize, I was out of the office last week and I saw the pictures of it.
Yes.
But I'm not sure whether it was north or south of there. I know it was in between Mineral and LB there somewhere, but.
Eric, one other thing too, and again, this is kind of off topic, but I'll ask a question now.
Sure.
We received some information from some of the residents up there about the Pleasant Valley Road. Have you heard anything about that? And I can talk to you about it later on. As
No,
far as,
Was that Paradise Estates?
oh, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. I've got Pleasant Valley here, and apparently it's
We're in Paradise versus
Pleasant Valley, Paradise
Pleasant,
Estates.
it's paradise.
So
It's beautiful up there. If anybody hasn't been there,
Paradise.
take a trip. It's
we'll
fantastic.
We'll
It's all
talk
good.
about Paradise Estates.
Yes, we will talk about Paradise Estates offline.
And we have the landowner has been very agreeable, and you're working with them.
We haven't started yet, so this would be authorization to begin that process.
Okay.
I can't speak to that yet.
Okay.
Okay, Resolution 17-050, the transfer of a non-exclusive franchise from Cascade Networks Incorporated to Astound Broadband LLC to install, operate, and maintain telecommunication facilities on road rights-of-way in Lewis County, Washington. This is just one company that bought another, and so this is just transferring the agreement we have for the franchise to another company. So it transfers it in place as of right now. So they would still revert back to Resolution 14247, which renewed the franchise. And that was for a 5-year franchise. So this doesn't start the 5 years over. This just in the middle changes the franchise holder from one company to another.
Okay.
Any questions about that? Okay. Resolution 17-051, approve the purchase of 3 new SUVs, 2 Interceptors, and 6 pickups. So this is our budgeted ER&R purchases for some of our light-duty
ER&R?
vehicles. Pardon me?
ENR&R.
Yes, equipment rental and revolving fund for some of our light-duty vehicles. The total amount, can you go back? One second. Total amount of the purchase there is $298,444.92 for these vehicles. The vehicles are going to be purchased off of state contract. And I know there's been some discussion lately about purchasing off of state versus locals. We did do just a little bit of research, and we were a little bit under a time crunch because we got to get these vehicles ordered. But we did do a little bit of research into what it would cost to go through some of our purchasing cooperatives that we're involved in with a local one, and it was about 10% difference for one of the vehicles that we sort of priced. But I will commit to having some more conversations with some of the local dealerships to see if they can match the prices that the state's coming up with, or if they're interested. Some of the smaller dealerships don't have fleet departments where they actually sell fleet vehicles. Some do. And so that's going to kind of be a process we'll go through maybe here this spring and for next year's purchases, and we can start reaching out to some of those local dealerships and seeing if they're interested. I haven't heard from them directly that they have been interested, at least not since I've been here for 6 or 7 years, but that doesn't mean that we can't go to them and ask. So.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because it would be, I know that it's always, the question is always asked of us, of course, and I'm looking at 300,000 there for what is it, 6 vehicles altogether?
Actually, it's we've got 11.
11 vehicles altogether. So to me, and again, I'm not a business person per se or anything, but if the county is buying vehicles every year, from a local standpoint, it might be worth at least investigating it to see and let them know, and that would be a good conversation, I think, to have with them. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Resolution 17-052, approving a Master Interlocal Agreement between Lewis County and Toledo School District and authorizing signatures thereon. So this is one of our Master Interlocals we have with other government agencies. Basically allows us to do work for them as resources allow. So again, it's important to note that we would do work, as time and resources allow. So it wouldn't take the place of any work that our county crews would be doing. But basically what Toledo School District would like us to do is look at when we do have snow events, plowing their parking lots, again, as we have time. And also, I believe that there's some regrading of some gravel parking lots that they have out there, filling potholes, stuff like that they'd like us to do. So this agreement then sets up an agreement between us and them whereas we can get reimbursed for all of our costs associated with those materials, equipment, labor, everything gets covered. So
Good. It's a good thing.
it is.
It's a good thing for the school districts.
Yes.
I'm sure you're going to probably be hearing from more school districts that would.
Probably.
Thank you.
I think you guys have one.
We do. Resolution to appoint members to the Distressed Counties Fund, Rural Economic Development, Public Facilities Advisory Board.
And this one, I don't think we have that up yet. Did we go out of order? Did we skip 11?
Skipped one.
Skip 11?
17053.
17053. The list of bids received, it has
Oh, we did?
Scarcella, Brothers?
You want to do number 12?
No, this is number
We want
11.
to do
This is
11.
number 11.
Oh, sorry, my agenda says that was number 12, I apologize. So, 17-053, is that correct, Reba?
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay,
Correct.
sorry about that. Listing of bids and contractor selected for the Rebid Highway 603 Stabilization Project. So we took bids. Call for bids was made on January 9th, and we opened bids on January 31st of 2017. Scarcella, excuse me, Brothers Incorporated provided the lowest responsive bid of $4,493,714.21. So this would award the bid then to Scarcella Brothers for that 603 project. And as you can see, there's the contractor's name and bids that were submitted there.
And during our previous discussion, we noted that there was somebody local that was very close, but not quite close enough.
That's true. Sterling Breen was our second low bid at $4,640,700.13. And our engineer's estimate was right about 4.6 million. So the range of bids came in where we hoped to expect them. We were happy with those. This is quite a decrease from the original bid from 603, which was over $5 million. So we were pleased with that. And the plan is to start on this project as soon as possible, as soon as weather permits, and to be completed before the end of the year. That's the goal. So,
Eric, I got a question for you here. So the Scarcella Brothers obviously won the contract with the bid. So, but I know that Breen has rock all over, as does, well, let's see, I know there's Lions and all kinds of people that have rock. Would they then, does that usually work where they would probably bid out, they would get a hold of Scarcella Brothers and say, you know, depending on location, I'm just thinking of location because Lewis County is a pretty big county as far as geographically. So I'm assuming that's how it works, but I've never really.
yeah, so typically the contractor will submit their sources, but where they get that material from is up to them as long as they're approved sources. So yes, so Scarcella Brothers could choose to, as long as they were an approved pit site and approved material, they could choose to get their materials where they like. So that's kind of those means and methods type things that the contractor gets to decide how they do the work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, on now to resolution number 17-054. And we're pulling up the slide on that one. And this is for the distressed counties, or we always call it the 09 funding. And we receive this funding since we are, quote, a distressed county. And would you like to pull up further the people that are appointed? So we have Mark Anders from the Port of Chehalis, Bonnie Kennedy, Mayor of Centralia, Dennis Dawes, Mayor of Chehalis, Matt Evans, Port of Centralia, myself, Reggie Hamilton, the committee chair, and Buck Hubbard from the Chehalis Industrial Commission. So we meet once a quarter, look at the 09 applications, and make decisions from there. So this is for this year. Okay.
Thank you.
We can move to resolution number 17-055. And I'll read the resolution before the Board of County Commissioners of Lewis County, Washington. The appointment of Heather Stewart to the Board of Directors of the Public Facilities District. Whereas there is a need to fill a vacant position on the PFD, and whereas Heather Stewart has expressed a willingness to serve on said board, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners that Heather Stewart shall be appointed to serve on the PFD board for a term to expire October 1st, 2019. Pass this day in open session, the 13th day of February, 2017.
Mrs. Stewart is with us today. Would you like to make a comment or two? Got to come to the mic. And by the way, her husband Jared works in our IT department as well, so
Yes.
welcome.
So I'm Heather Stewart, and I just want to say that I'm honored for the appointment. I understand my competition was pretty steep there. But I'm just eager to be a part of the Public Facilities District and figure out where my talents might be able to benefit. And just excited to be able to contribute to something that can stimulate, hopefully, continue to stimulate our economy here and growth in Lewis County. So,
Heather, you're coming in at a historic time for the Public Facilities District as they are working on a sports commission. And so for the next few months, it's going to be at least one meeting a month as they determine how that's supposed to go. So you're hitting the ground running with a big project. And we
Yeah,
appreciate
perfect.
you. We appreciate you stepping up to do this. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Heather.
you.
Okay, a motion has been made to approve the consent agenda. That would be 8 items. Resolutions number 17-048 through resolution number 17-055. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Seeing no further business on our agenda, I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Motion is made to adjourn and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned. Thank you very much.
You are invited to immerse yourself in the beauty of nature in all 4 corners of Lewis County, Washington. From our fields to your table, farms in the west share their bounty. Limitless landscapes, forests and mountains beg to be explored in the east. Fish our many rivers and lakes in the south, and discover where history and culture intersect in our twin cities. Explore it all by visiting our Facebook page and plan your next getaway at discoverlewiscounty.com. Culture, history, and adventure all come alive when you discover Lewis County.